morning, everybody. I see that you all are coming in slowly but surely. I just want to welcome you all this morning. It's great. I wish I could see all your faces, but unfortunately, I cannot. But I see that we have a lot of students who are logging in, and we're really excited about having you a part of today's question and answer, because really that is what this is all about. We want to hear from you. So we're going to give it a couple of seconds to allow folks to log in and to allow all of our students to come into this to this session. So first and foremost, let me first just introduce myself to you all if you don't know who I am. I'm Dr. Hutchings, your superintendent, and I am so excited to see each and every one of you, not really see you, but to see your names this morning. And we're here to hear from you. We think it's so important, as we are talking about returning back into our school buildings, that we talk to our young people, and your voices are power. So it's important for us to come and to speak with you and to hear some of your questions so that we can answer them in the best way that we possibly can. So we have a very special guest with us today, and Dr. Herring. He is our health director for the Alexandria Health Department. So he's a medical doctor, everybody. So I'm a doctor of education. He's a medical doctor. So I work with kids. He works with kids too, but he works with kids in regards to health. I'm all about education and getting you all out into the world to make some great things happen. But we're going to hear from Dr. Herring today just to give us a couple of tips on what we need to do when we are out and about in our community and when we come back into the schools, just to make sure that everybody is being safe and we're all doing our part to keep this coronavirus at bay. So I'm going to turn things over to Dr. Herring, who is our Alexandria Health Department Director. Dr. Herring.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
It is such a pleasure to be here and to be able to talk with everybody today. I look forward to the questions and answers. I want to go over three things real quick about how to be safe when you're out in public. The first is staying 6 feet away and thinking about what is 6 feet. 6 feet is about the width of a car, or for an adult, it's 2 arm lengths. So maybe get a ruler or a tape measure and start measuring what is 6 feet. So that way you have in your head, some people have described it as 2 large dogs next to each other, in parallel. But whatever you can do to think about what 6 feet is, and that's the distance you're going to want to maintain from others. The second thing is wearing a mask. You're going to want to wear a mask that covers both your nose and your mouth, covers your nose and your mouth. Not like this, not like this. It's got to cover your nose and your mouth to be effective. And then the final thing I want to go over is washing your hands. And I know everybody knows how to wash their hands, but I'm going to show you a trick that I use that, number one, washes my hands of the germs, of the bugs that I can end up catching. But number two, it also makes me feel better. And I'm going to time myself. So it goes along with the happy birthday song. So I have warm water and soap, and I'm putting my timer on now. And I sing to myself, happy Wednesday to me, happy Wednesday to me, happy Wednesday, dear Stephen, happy Wednesday to me. And Thursday and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and that's 20 seconds. So singing some song or chanting something is actually a good way to, number one, lift your spirits, tell yourself how happy you are, even when you're unhappy. Telling yourself that you're happy about something actually is very useful, but it also gets the 20 seconds of soap and water that we need on our hands. So those are the three things I want to emphasize. The 6 feet of distance, the proper use of a mask over your nose and your mouth, and the 20 seconds of hand washing with soap and water. When you don't have a sink nearby, using hand gel is going to be very important. So that's my message to everybody this morning. Thanks, Dr. Hutchings, for having me here.
And thank you, Dr. Heron. I mean, I think you missed your call and you should actually be in the classroom teaching. So we would love to have you come and teach in one of our classrooms when we get back into school. So thank you for that, Dr. Herring. And we now want to hear from you all. This is an opportunity for you to use your chat box to ask questions. And we have some of our staff here on this Zoom to answer any questions that you may have, because as I stated earlier, this really is all about hearing from our students and hearing some of your questions or your concerns, or even just some comments that you may want to make in regards to us returning back to school in the near future. So let's get right into your questions. And I'm going to start with question one. And this is for Dr. Herring. Uh, if everyone stays home, will the coronavirus go away?
The coronavirus is transmitted from person to person. And if we stay home, it will reduce the amount of transmission between person to person. But there are some things that we have to go and do. People have to get their groceries. They have to go to the pharmacy. They have to go to the doctor. So there's always some sort of interaction among us in a society. So we believe the coronavirus is going to exist for some time. There's a big word. It's not a long word, but it's a complicated word called endemic, which means will it last forever? That's only to be seen. Staying at home is safer and it helps to reduce the transmission, but it's to be determined later whether or not the coronavirus will actually go away or not.
So thank you, Dr. Herring. And now there's a question about how will we play recess? So Dr. Mazingo, you may want to talk to that. The kids they come back to school, they want to be in recess. So how are they going to play recess if we're having social distancing and we have masks in our schools?
What a great question this morning. Yes, we will, as your teachers and principals are planning for some of you to come back, you will have access to recess. Now, it might look a little different, of course, but it would mean that you still will be on the playground. You'll probably have to keep the distance from each other, but we're required to make sure that you have recess. So the activities that you engage in when you have recess, that is a priority, and you will still have an opportunity for recess. It will look a little different, but you will have access to that.
Thank you, Dr. Mazingo. So that means recess, but still practicing social distancing, 6 feet apart, and mask or face coverings. All right, next question is, if someone gets sick, will the school shut down again? So if someone gets sick, will the school shut down again? And we do have a protocol that we have in place for when we shut down our schools. Dr. Crawford, I believe she is on this call, and she does a lot of work through our student services, and she works directly with the health department. She can talk a little bit about, our protocol. So if somebody gets sick, do we just shut down everything, or how does that work, Dr. Crawford?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I wish I could see all of your faces. I hope everyone is doing well. This is a great question. And people of all ages are asking this question. What do we do if someone gets sick? And the question really is, it depends on where that person has been and how many people they have been with, just like Dr. Herring described. So if it's a person who has had a lot of close interaction, or maybe was closer than those 6 feet with people, then we would look at, do we need to pause and have people stay at home to make sure everybody is healthy? If it's someone at school who didn't have a lot of interaction with our kids and our other staff members, then we may be able to work with the health department to say, nope, everybody is safe and we can keep going. So the situation really is just that it depends. And that's why those things that Dr. Herring and we outlined and that we talked about, making sure that you're far enough apart, you're wearing your masks, you're protecting yourself, but you're also protecting other people. So this is part of what makes coronavirus so hard, is that there's some uncertainty still. We don't have always exact answers, but we do have very specific questions that we ask to make sure that we're protecting all of you and your teachers and your staff members. And if we needed to take a pause, if someone had a lot of what they say exposure, so face-to-face time, then we would do that. But the question really, the answer I should say really depends. But thank you for that question.
Thank you, Dr. Crawford. So I really like my teacher. If we come back to school, will I have my same teacher? And that's a question a lot of people are asking. And right now, what we're saying is that we hope that you will have your teacher. We're trying to keep all of our students with their teachers because we know that you have been with your teacher, even though it's been a virtual world since September, and you love your teacher to death, right? So we don't want to break up that relationship. But there will be some instances where we may not be able to keep some of our students with our teachers. But we're going to do everything within our power and our authority to keep our students with the current teachers that they have. But there is no guarantee that 100% of our students will be in that situation. But we are going to try to keep all of our students with their teachers. Where will my classroom be? Which is a great question too, because we hope your classroom will be in your school, but the actual location of your classroom is really hard to tell because last year we were able to leave our classrooms and then just go, if we were to go back, we were just going to go back to the classroom that you just left. Well, we are right now in the works of assigning our classrooms to our teachers. And once we get the family choice form, which I want to talk to you all about before we conclude today, once we get family choices from all of our families, we'll be able to begin to develop those schedules for all of our students. I love music and my encore classes. Are we going to have them if we return to school? Dr. Mozingo.
What a great question. And the answer is yes. I actually was talking with some principals on yesterday, and we were talking about the same question, the recess question and encore and dance and music. Absolutely. Now, but we remember we'll have to maintain the social distancing requirements and the 6 feet requirements, but absolutely we will make sure that those courses are available for you.
Thank you, Dr. Mozingo. So what about lunch? You know, that's a question. I know Dr. Hart had talked about this yesterday. Lunch may look a little differently this year. So can you talk a little bit about lunch and what that looks like?
Absolutely. So, as Dr. Hutchings just said, lunch will be a little bit different this year. Normally, we're able to eat lunch in the cafeteria, walk to the cafeteria, walk back to class after lunch is done. But this year, we would more than likely end up eating lunch in the classroom. So at your desk, you will be able to take off your mask so you can eat, but it will be inside the classroom this year. So lunch will definitely still be a part of the day. It'll just be in a different area of the school.
Thank you, Dr. Hart. So this is another question for Dr. Herring. Will I have to get vaccinated to come back to school?
That just came out in the press today. There will not be any sort of directive from the state of Virginia requiring people to get a vaccination at this point. We want your families to make what we call informed decisions. In other words, you get a lot of information. That's where the informed part is. You get the information and you make a decision about whether or not to get the vaccination. I know that I will be getting the vaccination. I know I will be recommending it for others, but it won't be mandatory. It will not be a requirement.
Thank you, Dr. Herring. How many days a week would we be in school when we return, Dr. Mozingo?
When you return, you will be in school 2 days a week. That's what we are working on developing for you. 2 days in school and 3 days virtual.
Thank you, Dr. Mozingo. How will I ride the bus? So Dr. Hart, I know you talked about this in a previous session. So how will students ride the bus? What does that look like?
So riding the bus will be slightly different. You will have to get on the bus and have your mask on, and you'll sit one student per bench, and then there will be some benches that will be skipped before another student can sit there. So it'll either be 2 benches between students or possibly 3 benches, just depending on the size of the bus. But our normal routes to school will still be relatively the same. Just the general experience of riding the bus, with the exception of wearing the mask and being that appropriate distance apart, will be the same.
Thank you, Dr. Hart. So Dr. Crawford, I know you talked about if students are sick. What about what if my teacher gets sick? What happens?
This is another very good question. And, our first most important priority for all of our students on the line is to make sure that you guys are safe and healthy. So we are encouraging your teachers and you and your families to stay home if you don't feel well at all. That doesn't mean you have coronavirus, but if you have a runny nose, a sore throat, an upset stomach, sometimes you think, well, I want to go to school today because there's something fun and exciting. We want teachers and kids to stay home if you don't feel well, to make sure that you're going to be healthy. If your teacher does have something where they don't feel well and are sick, then we would make sure that they're staying home. Sometimes if we suspect that someone has coronavirus, that may be for a longer period of time. You may have heard 10 days or 14 days that we would want your teacher to stay home. And, we stay in touch with anybody who doesn't feel well to make sure that we're supporting them. But it would be okay. Your teacher would stay home, take care of him or herself, and they would come back to school when they're healthy.
Thank you so much, Dr. Crawford. So what happens if you actually get sick at school, Dr. Crawford? I know we have protocols for when students are sick at school and our nurses are still going to be available. So what happens if a student gets sick at school?
Yes, we are super lucky that we have nurses in our schools because not every school system has that. So we would follow what you do on a normal basis. Let's say that you don't feel well midday during the day and you tell your teacher, and the teacher or somebody would make sure that you all go see the school nurse. If we would do the same thing here, and if the school nurse thinks that you need to go home, or let's say you have a temperature, or you have some of those other feelings, like I said, a sore throat, a bad cough, we contact your parent, your guardian, whoever you guys live with, and would ask them to come and pick you up. That process is pretty similar. We may do something in the school where, you wait by the front of the door in a different room so that when your person comes to pick you up, you're ready to go. But that process is pretty similar to if you didn't feel well on a regular school day. You want to make sure you tell your teacher so that they can bring you to the nurse's office and we can make sure that we know how you're feeling and have you go home to feel better if you don't feel well. And Dr. Herring, I just answered 2 questions. Is there anything you want to add in on those?
No, other than the schools have been working really closely with the health department, and we have a schools team, and they're actually part of this meeting to help your parents to answer their questions and to help guide them about testing and about when it's safe to come back to school, and to help the teachers as well.
Thank you, Dr. Crawford and Dr. Herring. Oh, so this next question is for, I'm going to ask Dr. Mazenko. What happens, or what would happen if my parents don't want me at school? Do I stay virtual with my teacher?
So what we want you to know is that you and your parents will make a decision. Remember, we said earlier that the family choice form is coming out today. So your families will get a chance to make a decision. So if your family decides that they want you to stay virtual, you will stay as you are now. That's the nice thing about what we have in place is that you're currently all virtual 5 days a week, and you would remain virtual.
Thank you, Dr. Mazenko. And then will we be at school for a full day? So will we be at school for a normal 8 hours like we typically are, or how would the day work?
Yes, that's good. I love that question. Yes, when we get you back in school, you will be in school for a full day, all the similar activities as you had before, but a full day for 2 days.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mazenko. So Dr. Hart, I know you had spoke to this in a previous community session, who cleans our classrooms and also who cleans our bathrooms?
Great question. So I think all of you all are familiar with the building custodians. They will still be the ones that are cleaning our restrooms and the classrooms throughout the day. We will also get some help from teachers as we'll provide them wipes to be able to help wipe down desks in between classes or transitions if needed.
Thank you, Dr. Hart. And then here's another question, and Dr. Crawford, you can answer this. Do I need to take my temperature before going in to the classroom or into the school?
Yes, we are working on a plan to make sure that people who come into the building right now get their temperatures taken. Some of you may have experienced this already. If you go to the doctor or you go into a business, lots of businesses have you take temperature and answer a few questions. Actually, that's what your teachers and your principals are doing right now. Before they come into school, they get their temperatures taken. And we will continue to do that. So we take temperatures, and then every morning we'll have some questions of just how are you feeling today? And hopefully everyone will feel well and you'll go on your way into your class. But that's one piece that we'll continue to do, is that people will have their temperatures taken when you come into the building. These are great questions.
Thank you, Dr. Crawford. So Dr. Hart, can students use the water fountains?
Another great question. So this is still under discussion with the team, and we'll definitely continue to work with the health department as well to get some guidance. There are lots of little germs that can be on water fountains just because hands are touching it throughout the day. So just because we want to keep everyone safe, we just want to make sure that we make the right decision when it comes to use of water fountains. So more to come on that, but we'll make sure that we are able to answer that question prior to you guys coming back to the class.
Thank you, Dr. Hart. So will we still have asynchronous Mondays, Dr. Mazengo? So will we still have asynchronous learning on Mondays?
So I want to answer that in two ways for you. I think we probably will. We have a group of teachers and others working with us to make a decision around which 2 days, students would be in school. But most likely we will probably maintain that Monday as asynchronous. So that's a great question. So most likely we will maintain that day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mazingo. So Dr. Hart and also Dr. Herring, you can also add on to this question as well. So will the air in my classroom be safe for me? And will my teacher open windows?
So yes, we are working very hard to make sure that all of our buildings, the air is safe and properly conditioned. And the way that we do that is just by making sure that our systems are working the way that they should be, by changing filters. And if there is an issue that needs to be repaired, we fix it. In terms of opening windows, we at this time are not suggesting that your teachers open windows, because that could actually bring in dust and pollen and allergens and other things that can just make some people not feel well. So we're really focused on just making sure that our systems are working properly. And Dr. Herring, please feel free to jump in and add anything if I miss something.
No, you didn't miss anything. Just to say that the health department has been giving Dr. Hart the advice that's been produced by national experts, and they've been following that advice.
Thank you, Dr. Herring, and thank you, Dr. Hart. So the final question is, what happens if the principal gets sick? What happens if the principal gets sick, Dr. Crawford?
Well, this will be very similar to what we talked about if your teacher gets sick. All of the adults in the building are following those steps about trying to be 6 feet apart, wearing their mask, and paying attention to how they feel. So in a case where a principal got sick, they would stay home too. There are lots of things we're learning in our virtual environment that people can do from home to make sure that things are going smoothly at school, and your principals would do that. They would stay home during the time period that they were sick, and then they'd come back as soon as possible to make sure that they're with you. Nobody wants to put you all at risk in any way. And we know that this can be a scary time. Lots of people are anxious about, do I go back to school or do I stay home? Those feelings are totally normal. So your principals and your teachers will be checking in with you. I just wanted to mention that, because if you feel a little scared, that's okay. Just mention it to your teachers and your principals and your parents, and we can talk about ways that we can help. But if a principal were to get sick, they would follow the same rules. This is one of those times where principals, special teachers, students, classroom teachers, everybody's going to follow those same guidelines on distancing, wearing your masks, and then staying home when sick and coming back to school as soon as you can.
Thank you so much, Dr. Crawford. Thank all of you for all of our team for speaking today. You know, it is so important for us, as I stated earlier, to hear from each and every one of you. So thank you all for your tough questions. And I thought your very insightful and thoughtful questions that you asked today. You are definitely showing ACPS that, you know, we produce some of the best people, I think, on earth. I'm biased, though, as superintendent. So before we conclude, I do want to tell you this one thing. If you can make sure that your families complete the family choice form. And these forms are found in our Power School. And we know you have a Power School account, but your parent or your guardian, they're going to have to complete this family choice form in a parent account for Power School. So we're sending out information this afternoon, and we'll have directions on how parents and guardians can complete the form and how they can set up an account. But just remind them, you know, about this, and we hope that you will share some of the, you know, answers that you got today with your family when you have some opportunity at some point today to talk with them. And we just want to thank you for your time and hope that you enjoy the remainder of your day. So talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.